What is the most important thing to grow your therapy practice? I know what it is, I'm gonna show you what it is, and I'm gonna show you how to actually do it so that you can get so many clients. You'll be way too busy. I currently have a practice that is doing over $1.5 million a year. Now, how did I do that? I did one thing. I specialized. I became an expert. I became the pro on one thing, and now everybody's coming to me for it. I'm gonna show you how to specialize and how to use that specialization to create a thriving practice. When you start as a therapist and you wanna go into private practice, there's two trains of thought. One is, I'll treat everything because I want a lot of clients, so I'll treat depression, anxiety, relationship issues, children, I'll do sand tray therapy, I'll do all these things because I need some clients. That's a bad strategy. And the reason is because you'll be a jack of all trades, but not good at any of them. Now, when somebody's looking for therapy, think about their train of thought. They want the best. Therapy is so important. Our families are on the line. Our lives are on the line. So we want the best. If I were to look for therapy for my child or for myself, I would research who is the best at treating what I need help with. Not who treats everything. I treat betrayal and I treat sex addiction. I know, pretty weird specialization. I treat people who have been cheated on or infidelity. But you know what? A lot of people have been cheated on. And a lot of people need help with that. And I understand it inside and out. I know everything about it. I can speak to it more than anybody else can. I've done it for over a decade. And because of that, people want to come to me because I'm an expert, because I really understand that topic. If somebody is struggling with betrayal in their marriage, they'll probably come across me. I have podcasts, I have YouTube channels, I have websites, I have marketing funnels, and I have a practice with a lot of good therapists that I've trained that treat that issue. So they'll find me and they'll realize that I know how to help them. When you become the expert on a topic, then more people are going to seek you out and find you. But also other things start to happen, and it's really cool. When you become the expert on a topic, people want to consume your content. They want to understand what you know, so you can write a book, you can create a course, you can start a YouTube channel or a podcast, and they'll start to consume what you're giving them because they need help and they want help from you. Another thing that has happened is therapists have come into my life that want to do the same thing as me. They want to get trained by me, they want to understand what I do and how I do it, and they want to work under me. They want me to train them. That's great for me because now I'm scaling my business. I'm bringing business in because I'm the expert. I'm handing my expertise down to other therapists and they're treating those clients, and I'm making money off of those therapists who are helping people and they're using my expertise. As therapists, it's really hard sometimes to figure out how to scale our business. We feel like we have to trade time for money. We have to meet with the next client in order to help people. That's not true. You can scale your business. Let's talk about how to actually become a specialist. How can you claim that you're an expert? Before I tell you how to do that, remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. All right, so I'm saying become a specialist. Now you can just claim that you're a specialist, but when people come in and they realize that you don't know what you're talking about, that's not gonna hold any weight. You need to actually become an expert. Now, how you become an expert, one of the first things that you do is you're willing to jump in the deep end. So when I first started treating addiction, I started at this community-funded program where a lot of clients were just cycling through. It was a government program. And whenever a difficult client would come up, I would ask for them to be assigned to me. I would want that client because they were difficult. Now, a lot of the other therapists were thinking, I don't want the hard ones. But the reason I wanted the difficult client is because I considered that time of my life as a training ground. I was learning, I was growing, I was honing my skills. So I wanted the most challenging ones so that I could really learn how to treat addiction. Get specialized training. Now, training's awesome. Getting letters behind your name, that's awesome. But I want to be honest with you. The training that I've done has not taught me that much. Most of what I've learned has been on the job. So why would I say to you, get specialized training? It does bring credibility. When I have letters behind my name that say, yes, I've actually paid for and done that training, people trust that. And when people trust that, they come into your office and you get to meet with them and get more experience as a therapist. So getting trained is worth it. Do something again and again and again. So if you want to become a specialist, you need to put the hours in. You need to get the expertise through experience. So it can get tiring, it can get old after a while. Talking about betrayal, talking about addiction, that can get old for me after a while. But I meet with people who struggle with the same thing over and over and over again. And because of that, I've become a specialist, an expert. Another way to become a specialist is to network and go to conferences. When you surround yourself with other specialists, you can see what they're doing, how they're running their business and their programs. And when you do that, you actually start to realize what it looks like to be a specialist. So it's important to make friends and who become mentors who actually do what you want to do. I think of guys like Robert Weiss or Patrick Carnes. Now, when I say those names, you probably have no idea who they are. I think of John Eldridge or Barbara Steffens. Now, these people aren't celebrities, but they are to me because they're pioneers in my field. They've done amazing things. I know who they are. I know the books that they've written and the programs that they run because I've networked with them. It's important that you understand the most recent research and what's going on in your field. You don't want to be behind. So pay attention, read blogs, read what people are saying. For example, things are always changing about the treatment of sex addiction. In the 10 years that I've done it, the way that we treat sex addiction is totally different than it used to be. And it's been important for me to stay up on that, to pay attention what's going on in the world around me. You become an expert when you act like an expert. There is an element of fake it until you make it. Believe that you are going to be an expert, so start acting like an expert. When you do that, you start to learn rapidly and you start to grow, and you actually have that confidence that other people can feel, which feels like you're a specialist and you're an expert. Speak in public, go on podcasts, become a voice for healing in the field that you're in. The more that people recognize you as a person who knows what they're talking about, the more they believe you're an expert and the more you start acting like an expert. I have a friend who's a therapist, and to be honest with you, he's a little burned out because he's getting way too many clients. He is the expert on treating obsessive compulsive disorder. He is so good at it. Now, you can imagine a lot of people struggle with that anxiety disorder. I'm not very good at it. So when I get clients that come in struggling with OCD, I think of him. Automatically, he's the guy that comes into my mind because he is the person here that treats OCD, and he's busier than ever. Now, I say he's burned out. He's got a ton of clients. I think there's a lot of different things that he could do with his business. He could train therapists. He could scale his business. He could grow his practice even further. He could develop products and programs that create passive income for himself. So becoming an expert makes it so that he has a lot of opportunity as a therapist to build his business in many different ways. When I first started as a therapist, I didn't know how I was going to get any clients. Now I have way too many clients. And the reason is because I've gone through the process that I just outlined. I've jumped in the deep end. I've learned. I've spoken in public. I've networked. I have become an expert in the field of betrayal and sex addiction. And you can do that too. If you're watching this and you're just starting out, just take one step at a time. Focus on what you want to become good at. And one day you'll be looking back thinking, oh my goodness, I am so busy and I have so much opportunity now. If this video is helpful, then you gotta see my other video, A Therapist's Guide to Marketing Funnels. It helps take your expertise and actually funnel clients into your practice.